guys, it's Sierra, your host,
Hi, it's Joanna, your co-host.
and you're listening to the Color of Home podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Color of Home podcast. We're so happy to have you here with us today. We have a very extra special guest with us. Melanie, welcome.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here with us, Mel.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you today.
Melanie is one of our best friends. We were the trio, all three of us.
Yes.
The best.
Ourselves, you remember?
Yes, the three musketeers. Yep.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to this week's podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the same soil but different seasons. Basically, we're going to be just talking about returning back to a place where you grew up as a missionary kid or wherever you grew up as a third culture kid, and then just it feeling very different than you remember, but at the same time it's the same place, but yeah, you're just in a different season of life when you return.
So for those of you who don't know, Joanna and Melanie and I were like best friends. We were the little group of three over there. We were the only three girls in our class, so we just became best friends, and we're best friends to this day. We talk to each other all the time, and we haven't actually seen each other in person since we've graduated. None of us have seen each other, but we're still best friends. And yeah, do you guys remember how we met each other? How did we first meet?
Well, Jojo, I don't remember when I met you. It was probably grade 10 or something, because I was on home assignment in grade 9. I think grade 10 you were just there when I came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember you from
I don't remember.
But I didn't like you.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I felt like you totally ignored me all the time.
You know what? Joanna and I were talking about this on the last podcast, but when we were talking about when we first arrived to New Guinea, and I was like, you did not want to meet me when I first got there. I was not a happy camper. She's like, well, when I met you, you were so nice. I was like, no, I was going through it. So I apologize. You thought I was an awful person.
It's probably not just you, but me as well.
No, I was really I was going through it.
Mel, I remember I came in grade 10 or something, came back from furlough. You guys were like, yeah, Melanie is Celine's older sister. And I was like, what? This is crazy. I didn't even know she had an older sister. So I don't remember too much of how we met, but it feels like we've all known each other for forever. So
definitely, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. I think, were we always the three girls in our class, or did we had other girls and then they all left? So it was just us three. We were forced to become friends.
Yeah. I don't remember the rest, but because ever since I was in literally kindergarten in that class, we've always just been two girls. Yeah, it's our class since literally elementary school has always been few and far between girls, hardly any girls. So by the time I was in grade 11, 10, 11 and stuff with you guys, I'm yeah, we're just three girls who gotta stick together.
Yeah, I know. We had to stick together. There was a lot of boys.
Yeah.
It was too many.
Yeah, and it's funny because the class that came after us, they were the total opposite to us. They had 10 girls and 2 guys.
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
They had a lot.
That
But to be honest, I'm kind of glad we didn't have that many girls. I feel like there would have been a lot of drama. So just the three
we
of us
had no
was perfect.
drama. I honestly don't remember us ever beefing or I don't ever remember a time. I felt like we just all got along, but also you guys didn't live on base, so
that's true. We all lived separately.
Yeah, all my friends were actually the ones younger than me or older than me because I'm the girls in my class aren't even here, so I hung out a lot with the younger girls. So
yeah. And Melanie, you were with the Swiss mission, right? So you were on a different base. I was at Sobega, and then Joanna was at Lopulo, so we each were in a different base, which I'm sure was some healthy separation, but we still were together all the time, always having sleepovers or whatever.
Yeah. And it's crazy because we're all like from three different countries too. Not only were we like
Yeah.
separated on the mission field, we're like separated like in countries too. So
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
sucks.
I know. It does.
Not fair. All the boys get to be like from the States or Canada, and us girls are like,
Hmm.
oh, like far away.
We're all
I wonder
separated.
if we're ever like us three, if we're ever gonna meet up somewhere. I have no idea. I feel like it's so hard to find something, but
I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys with kids and stuff, it's kind of like it's hard. So, yeah.
Well, hey, we'll make it work one day.
I know.
You guys can come to
That'll make it.
America. Or we'll go to Switzerland. I feel like Switzerland, you
yeah,
know.
you're
Who doesn't
very
want
well.
to go to Switzerland? So,
Or you guys could come to Canada because we have some similar terrain like Switzerland. So,
yes. Okay, JoJo. Maybe Canada. You know, I actually don't remember. Like, I feel like, did we go to my house most of the time? Like, I remember maybe going to Melanie's like once or twice. Joanna maybe like once or twice. But were we?
you guys ever went to mine?
Yeah, like 1 or 2 times we did.
I think not very often. I don't think I went to your house very often, Jojo. I think it was like twice. Yeah.
Do you
I
remember
do.
trying Buckley's at my house, that Canadian cough medicine?
No?
No.
You made us
yeah,
try
we-
it?
Yeah, we let you guys try this. It was like this Canadian cough medicine, and it's like the worst thing. It's literally like I don't even know. It's like
Really?
horrible. So pepperminty, like your eyes are watering. And like,
What?
yeah, and you guys are like, Buckley's never heard of it.
So you were just
Maybe
taking
it's
cough
a-
medicine for fun?
Yeah, basically.
Your mom was
Yeah.
just like,
I
here,
mean,
try this.
to all the Canadian listeners, like every Canadian knows Buckley's. We all grew up with it, and it's like the worst tasting medicine ever. And that's what their commercial says. It tastes terrible, but it works, and it does work. It
Tastes
just-
terrible, but it works.
yeah, that's their commercial, and it's so true. It about kills you. It's like your
Burning
eyes are
your
watering.
throat
You
as
feel
it's
like
going
yeah,
down.
you feel like you're about to die. So
That's funny. I don't remember. Do you remember that, Melanie?
I don't either.
I don't either.
really,
I'm
I
sure it happened,
remember
though.
This.
Not bad.
This literally was like sticks in my mind. I was like, it was bad.
Yes,
That was
I
so
believe
funny.
I
you.
remember.
That's
but
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
What?
word.
Good times.
I have Sierra is the time we stayed at your house before banquet, and we were trying on a dress.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I
Wait, was
remember
I
this
there?
story. Yes, you were there. We were all there.
Tried on her
Before
dress,
banquet.
remember? That she ordered from America. And then we were like, what's that weird like, lining underneath your dress? It looks like it's cut off.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Yes.
do remember that.
I was like, oh yeah, well, I just cut it off because it was too long. I didn't like the train, so I
Yes.
chopped it off.
Like zigzags. It was like horrible.
It was bad, yeah.
Yeah, and then your mom found out, Sierra. Do you remember? And she was like so mad that you cut the dress. And she was like, I can't sew this back together.
Yes, I like walked down to the
Ooh.
hallway. My mom's like, "What did you do to your dress?" I was like, "Well, I just cut off the train. Like it looked like a wedding dress. I'm not getting married." And she was like,
Oh, it
"Yeah."
did.
Yes. She's
It
like,
wa-
"I cannot believe
yeah.
you did that." And so I was like, "Melanie, I'm in so much trouble. You have to help me." And Melanie's like, what is it? Not Betty Crocker. Martha Stewart. She's like Martha Stewart over here. She can cook, she can sew, she can do all these things. So I was like, Melanie, you have to help me. So we call my Aunt Karen, like my neighbor, like, can we please borrow your sewing machine? And actually, I think she was out of town. I think that's what Stewart said. He's like, well, my mom's out of town. But anyway, so we would go get her sewing machine, bring it over. And this is all happening without my mom knowing it. And sweet Melanie is like up till like 2 a.m. sewing my dress back together for me so I don't get like in so much trouble. Oh, that is the friend you need right there. You need a Melanie in your
Word,
life.
dude.
And by the way,
Yes.
Sierra,
Yeah.
I was really disappointed you never had a girl because you told me that night that you were going to name your child after me. Do you remember?
Yes.
You never had
I
a
was
girl.
indebted to you for life. That's
Oh,
funny.
Lord.
I only had boys. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
Well, I can only
maybe one day.
Do you remember our like tobacco in grade 11? We had to make popcorn, and Sierra just put the hot popcorn in a plastic bag, melted through the entire bag.
Why is it all about me?
We're
Yes,
like, no, I was helping you. I held the
you
bag and
were.
let you pour
You.
it in.
I was like, wait, guys, I have a great idea. We have to make all this popcorn, and the way we're gonna transport it is put it in a trash bag. That's like trying to hold this. And I dump. So the way we have to make popcorn over there, because we don't have like bagged popcorn, is you get the pot of oil, heat it up on the stove, pop it, right? So like we pour this like scalding hot popcorn into this plastic bag, and it just melts a hole, and the popcorn goes all over the floor, like all of our hard work.
Yeah. I feel like Mal had to rescue us again because like we had I don't think we had brain cells. I was like, what is happening?
No, I don't think we did either. Do you guys remember like being in Busama?
Gutted your first fish, Sierra. Do you remember? You were like so freaked out. We caught the fish and we took out all the insides, and you were
Oh
like
yeah.
freaked out.
Oh yeah.
But I think
Well,
you
it's
did.
because you guys did it with your fingers. You just like ripped it. You just ripped right in there,
think
grabbed, like flung them.
Do that. Mm.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
we went
Well,
either.
so we
My dad
should.
brought them back, the fish, and then we gutted them.
Right.
Yeah.
We did. Ah,
For our listeners, we should explain what Busama is because I don't think anybody has any clue what we're talking about. Melanie, you explain. You can probably explain it the best.
well, Busama is a place we went to for our class outing or for our class sneak, but it wasn't called that anymore. What was it called? Trip?
Senior, this is senior trip. A lot of people in Canada and America say senior trip,
Senior trip.
I
Okay.
think.
So we
Senior
went
trip.
to this place
Yeah.
by the beach down in Leh, and we took a boat and drove out there for like an hour, and then we spent the weekend there, and it was like very simple but very beautiful. Like the houses, there wasn't even a kitchen, I don't think, or anything, and like the toilet was just it had like a hole, and then you had to like pee and poop in there and stuff like that. But it was like the beach.
Yes, like on the beach, but like in the thick of the jungle, like
Yeah,
little like I don't know what kind of houses. What are they made out of? They're like on the stilts, but like bamboo or like
maybe
something
wood or something.
woven
Yeah.
wood.
It
Yeah,
was
so
wood,
like
yeah.
kind of like a little hut, but like on stilts. And then yeah, no bathroom whatsoever. Like a hole in the ground, and then a shower was like just a tarp. And then do we have like a bucket of water we just pour on us, or I don't remember how we did that,
Yeah, I
but
think it was a bucket.
Yeah.
yeah. So
They carried the water for us. They like let us know when you're having a shower, and these sweet
oh
people hosting us on the island would like carry the water and like cut up coconut for us. Yeah, it was
yeah,
so
that's
sweet.
right. They had a whole meal. That's true. I forget about that.
Hmm.
That was
Right.
really good. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, so one day the boys like all went out fishing and they had come back with fish and Melanie over here, tribal woman, is just like ripping the guts out and cleaning the fish. And she's like, Sierra, come try. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Anyway, she ended up getting me to do it. I can't believe I did that. But Joanna, did you end up cutting a fish?
I don't think I did. No, fish is one of
Yeah.
my fears. Like I literally,
Really?
I will never go fishing. No, I don't like it. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You not eat fish either, or
I eat fish. I just don't want to touch them. No, don't want to cut them open. They're
Don't
like
blame
pre-cut
you.
when I come to the
Yeah.
store.
it's actually like when Roger and I were in PNG like 2 years ago, we went to Basama twice, and they've actually done a really big upgrade now. Like there's a normal toilet and a normal shower, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and they built a second house, and it's really nice. They have a small kitchen, which is very simple. They don't cook for you anymore, but like it's gotten quite an upgrade, so it wouldn't be as adventurous now.
Yeah, that's part of the adventure is like all of that. So, but cool. That's fun.
Okay, Mel, it's been so great just catching up and just like talking about, yeah, just all our memories that we had together because those were such precious times for us and like so important. So we would love to just get to know you better for our listeners, especially like just how did you grow up and how did you even get to Papua New Guinea and like just a little bit of your family story and like being with the Swiss mission and yeah, we'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, well, as you guys already heard, I'm from Switzerland. So, in Switzerland, we have like a lot of different churches together which support missionaries that go to Papua New Guinea. So we don't actually have to raise support the way you guys had to do for new tribes, which was really nice for my parents as well, and not as much pressure for them to go back because you never had to make sure like you had enough money coming in. And so it's actually interesting because my grandparents, they were already missionaries in Papua New Guinea as well. So my dad was an MK as well.
Oh,
And
great.
and then yeah, he decided to become a missionary as well. And he and my mom actually got married in Papua New Guinea. And so
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
What?
yeah, so my mom actually didn't have her family with her. One of her brothers traveled to Papua New Guinea for the wedding, but for everyone else it was way too expensive. So they stayed back in Switzerland.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I was actually born in Papua New Guinea as well, born and raised. And we used to move bases about every 4 years, depending on where my parents were working. So I had a lot of travel and change during my childhood. But for me, I always enjoyed it. I loved meeting new people and getting to know new places. And then, yeah, when we came to Lago, I think I started in grade seven, 8. And then grade 9, I was in Switzerland. And then grade 10 to 12 high school was when we had that time where we spent together. And then when I was 19, I went back to Switzerland and yeah, did my nursing degree, got married. And yeah, that's about where I am at right now.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
I didn't realize you were born in Papua New Guinea. I didn't know that.
What? You didn't know?
No, I like the more we're like interviewing other MKs, I did. There's a lot that were born there, and I didn't know that many MKs were born
Yeah.
over there. Huh, that's pretty cool. All right, Melanie. So we know for like all of us TCKs or MKs that like transitioning back to our home countries can be a little bit difficult. How was that for you going back home to Switzerland?
For me, it was I think easier than a lot of than for you guys, just because my parents actually came back with me. Like they always said, as soon as our eldest child graduates, our mission is complete in Papua New Guinea, and we're going to come back because my dad experienced what it was
Oh.
back by himself to Switzerland, and he didn't experience it very well. So
Mm,
to go through the same problems and difficulties, so they
mm.
back and I actually lived with my parents and my family in Switzerland. So that definitely helped a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That did,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's very cool.
hmm But I think it was like my first year in Switzerland was really good because we had a really cool youth group, and there was actually a few MKs that in that youth group as well that I knew from PNG who were also went to the or worked on the same bases as we did. So that really helped
Oh wow.
to like
Yeah.
Switzerland for a year. But I think the second year was harder for me because I felt like it was time for me to move again. And I was not used to having like 2 winters like following each other. And so I was just there. I was like, I feel like
Mm,
I go somewhere else now. And it was like, no, I'm actually staying here. And that was the moment where I realized, okay, my life really is finished in Papua New Guinea. And I'm really in Switzerland
mm.
to stay. So I think the second year was a bit harder for me just to wrap my mind around that whole idea of actually staying in Switzerland.
Yeah, I know that, and we were kind of talking about this too a few episodes ago, but just like, yeah, kind of grieving your past home and realizing that where you are now is your new home. And those are difficult transitions, but what a blessing that your dad, like, had already gone through some of those tough things and was able to, like, be there for you through that hard time. That's pretty neat. I feel like that's maybe not something that we see a lot, but yeah, that's very cool he did that for you, and I'm glad you had a good experience transitioning back home. So, after transitioning back home to Switzerland, you kind of mentioned earlier that you got married. How long until you met your husband were you in Switzerland?
Well, it's actually funny because he went to the same youth group as me. And for the first time I saw him, I was like, "Ooh, I kind of like this guy," but he was super shy and he never talked to me at all. He was like, when I would
Oh,
ask him a question, he was just like answer, and then it was like conversation over. And I was like, "Man, this is so frustrating. I don't think this is ever gonna work." So I kind of forgot about him.
oh,
Yeah, and then he left to go on a missions trip to Madagascar for 8 months or something like that. And then it was like I think
mm,
maybe 2 or 3 years after we were back in Switzerland, and when he came back from the mission trip where he started noticing me. So like we kind of knew each other from the beginning, but it took like 3 years or so before. Yeah, we started
wow,
stuff like that. Yeah.
that's crazy. Oh, so
He
you
had to
had
go do
already
his
like,
mission.
yeah.
Experience that just to relate to you, I guess.
Maybe, who knows?
Aw.
No,
Has he
actually,
had a lot of experience with like missions?
mm, well, his uncle and his aunt are actually missionaries in Papua New Guinea as well. So he kind of knows
Oh,
about the mission. Yeah. But he'd like never been there before.
wow.
And when he went to Madagascar, he was with MAF for 8 months. So he kind of got to learn a little bit about
Oh,
mission life there as well. But apart from that, he hadn't really
okay.
like experienced it himself.
Wow. So in Switzerland, do you have like a pretty big group of people that are missionaries in Papua New Guinea? Because I feel like if you've known a lot of them, like coming back, you said you knew a few of them that went to school over there.
I know
Is
what
there a
you.
group of them that like do work in Papua New Guinea?
Yeah, I mean, Switzerland is a small country if you think about it. And so, like, all the churches, we have, I don't even know how many churches there are here in Switzerland that belong to the same SCBM church that, like, sent us to Papua New Guinea. So when you come back to Switzerland, you usually
Oh,
go to one of those churches when you come back because you already know people there, and those are the people who would, like, pay for you to be in Papua New Guinea. And so the chance of you meeting up with someone else at a church was quite high. So that's why.
okay.
Oh,
That
that's
makes sense.
awesome that there's such a great support team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, if you think about it, in Switzerland,
Yeah.
for me to go to Germany, it only takes like 2 hours. So if you think about how big the country is, it's really small. So you can easily meet up with other people who
Yeah.
as well. So
That's true. It's probably like the size of a state here in like America or something. It'd be like
Oh
us
yeah,
driving
like
from
I
state to
think
state.
many Switzerland's like I can't remember if it was like 7 or 9 Switzerlands could fit in like a few of our provinces or something like that in
Wow,
Canada.
that's
Like I can't
crazy.
remember what it was, but I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Huh.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm glad you had that community around you. I think it makes a big difference for sure.
definitely
That's
done.
awesome. Has Roger, your husband, has he ever gone with you back to Papua New Guinea?
Yeah, he has actually. We were there for 15 months together, so that was a really cool experience as well for him to be able to see where I grew up.
So like how was what was his thoughts on Papua New Guinea when he first like got there? Was there a lot of culture shock? Because I remember Sierra said when she first landed there was like everything was just so different and so scary and like was there some of that Roger would have felt, you know?
I was actually surprised. He did a really good job, but I think it was because he'd been to Madagascar for 8 months, and I think the cultures are quite similar.
Mm.
Like smells and stuff like that obviously were very different, but he knew a little bit of the culture and the way the people think. And so I think that really helped him as well. But I remember when we were at the airport in Port Moresby, we got there and it was so hot, and all the flights were delayed for like 6 hours. And we were stuck in this waiting area
Oh.
with all these PNG people. And I don't know if you guys remember what it smells
Mhm.
like. There's like a ton of PNG people in one room. It's like very overwhelming.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Like, he was like, the smell is so intense. And I was like, for me, this feels like home.
Oh,
Yeah, I smell it, but it smells good.
yeah. You're like, it smells like home.
Like, it smells like
Yeah.
home. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
like, yeah, so for him, it wasn't too much of a culture shock, I don't think. Or like when I asked him,
Mm.
he says, yeah, for him, it was like okay. He wasn't like in a big culture shock like maybe other people who don't really have contact with countries like that.
Mhm.
That definitely helped him.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Same thing like so my husband Anthony, when I brought him over, he had been to Mexico a few times, like the more like undeveloped parts of Mexico. And yeah, he did really well like coming over too. But I think that's the reason. I think if they've gone to like a third world country before, like I feel like that helps quite a bit
Yeah, definitely.
prepare them or, helps them adjust a little
Yeah.
more. So what was the reason that you and Roger went back to Papua New Guinea?
Well, I always knew that I would want to go back, but I didn't quite know like if we would just go for a couple of weeks to like show him the country or if we would go there for a longer period of time. And my dad, his work at the moment here in Switzerland is that he oversees all the mission fields, not just in Papua New Guinea, but also in Bolivia and Romania and all the other countries. that we also sent out missionaries. And so once we were eating lunch at my parents' house, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, we're looking for somebody to be in Papua New Guinea for a year. The mechanical workshop, the guy who's leading this, he's going on home assignment, and they need someone to look after the workshop for that time." And he was like, "Oh, Roger, wouldn't that be something for you as a mechanic?" And so that kind of got the ball rolling. And I was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be a really cool opportunity. Go there for just for a year, so he could really get to know the culture, people." And so we started thinking about it and praying about it. And yeah, we really felt at peace that that was the right thing to do. So that's the main reason why we went to Papua New Guinea.
That's amazing because you guys were like just married too, right? Like it hadn't like you were like maybe a year after your marriage or two.
Yeah, I think it was like a year or 1.5 years or something like that. And we had we knew the year before that we were going to go to Papua New Guinea. So by the time we went, we had been married for 2 years.
Wow, that's still pretty early on in marriage, though. I mean, you're still like adjusting to each other and learning how to do life with each other. So to go to a third world country together, that's a little bit crazy. That's awesome, though. Very cool.
Especially because we both really enjoyed the jobs we were working at. I had just started a different job as well and enjoying it. And we really loved the apartment we were staying in and everything. So it wasn't like an easy choice for us because we knew we wouldn't be able to go back to the same house. We didn't know if we would get the same jobs again. It really felt like it was the right decision to do so. And we don't regret it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Right.
Just kind of trusting the Lord that that's where He wants you and where He's going to take you. And yeah,
I was gonna
that's
say, and
awesome.
it all worked out in like God's timing because like you guys did find jobs when you got back and stuff, but that's jumping ahead. But like, yeah, that's really cool that God did provide for all that and all the worries that you guys had. So
Definitely.
Yeah. I know for me, like, I don't think Joanna, I don't think you've been back to Papua New Guinea since you've graduated yet, but I did get to go back for my sister's graduation, and I took Anthony, who's my husband now, with me. But I know when I went back, like, it was weird because, like, you guys weren't there. None of my classmates were there, but I still had my sister and all of her classmates. So it was a little weird. But for you, by the time you had gone back, like, pretty much everyone that we knew throughout school probably had graduated. So what were your feelings going back? Did you have any feelings of like, this isn't normal, like this isn't what I remember it to be like, or can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, we were actually on a missionary base that I didn't know very well. We would go there once in a while for vacation or something like that. But as a kid, I always thought it was the most boring place to go on vacation. So
Hmm.
there was like nothing to do there, I felt like as a kid. And so I think that really helped because it was not like I couldn't say, "Oh, this is a school that I used to go to and the people that I know aren't there," or "Oh, this is the house I used to live in and my room," or "This is the room I used to stay in."
Hmm.
Like a completely different base. But when I did go to Goroka, that was for me, that was really, really tough. I think it was like a month
Hmm.
after we'd been in Papua New Guinea. Roger had to go fix something up at Orobiga, and so I decided to join him. And so we drove past the Lapilo base, and I was just like debating with myself, like, should I ask him to stop so we could like go onto the base and like have a look, or should we just keep
Hmm.
going? And then I was like, oh no, we'll leave it for this time. But it was so hard to just drive past the base and not like stop there and have a look. But I feel like nobody was going to be there that I knew about. And then it wasn't until like a couple of months later I wrote, I think it was the McKnights and Miss Bonner and Adams. And so we found a day where we could like meet up and talk to them. And so that was the first time when I actually
Hmm.
went onto the base. And so that was really strange. It was very nice, but it was also sad at the same time because everything looked the same on the outside. And we also went to the school and we talked to Miss Bonner, and then you heard the school bell ringing, and it was still the same tone from when we were there. And then I seriously went out to look for you guys. Like, I looked at all the students coming out of class to go to the next class, and I knew you guys weren't there in my head. But my heart was like looking for people I would know. There was nobody there.
Girl, it's so sad.
Oh,
Oh
that
my
is
goodness,
really
that's
sad. That's
like
breaking my heart.
So it was like my head
Yeah.
was still hoping
Mm.
that people were there that I knew. But it was like
Yeah.
people from like fourth grade. When I was a senior, they were in fourth grade. we're the seniors now, so I didn't really know
Yeah.
at all. So that was
That's
very strange,
crazy.
like walking through the classrooms. And oh, and I also saw like all the
Yeah.
things we had won in sports, all the trophies and stuff like that. And it was like so weird. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
word.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That
that,
would be
Wow. I feel
crazy.
like stepping into a time capsule. Just
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
definitely. It's like with every time I actually went there, it got easier. We went there a couple of times again after
mm,
to meet up with other people. And
yeah.
so every time I went there, I it was easier for me because I knew I was making new friends, getting to know other people, and I was really realizing you guys
Right.
were there. And so it got
Mm,
easier every time that, or with the longer the time
wow.
went by, it was got easier. But the first moment was definitely
Yeah.
bittersweet. So yeah.
Oh man, that would be really tough. Like, I had my sister in her class there, which I had some friends in her class, but I couldn't imagine like going back and not like seeing anybody that you recognize. Oh, that would be really tough.
Besides some teachers, yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
How did it go, like meeting up with the teachers?
That was actually really nice, and they all like still look the same, like Miss Bonner, Emily
Mm,
was exactly the same, and the McKnights they hadn't changed a bit, and the Adams. It was like so awesome to just see them, and all the other teachers. I feel like they were still exactly the same people from like 8 years ago. So it's crazy
yeah.
Right.
they're still there, yeah, being teachers and working for the Lord.
Hmm. Yeah, that is crazy.
Hmm.
Dedication
Wow.
for sure.
Yeah, because I'm like, some of them were like teaching even before, like teaching my brother's class. And like,
Wow.
yeah, like I think Mr. McKnight definitely taught my brother soccer. So
Mr.
it
McKnight.
definitely, yeah,
That
hill
guy.
sprints.
I'm like, if he could see me today, I literally did hill sprints like out of my own free will the other day. I was like running. I was like, if Mr. McKnight could see me right now, he would not believe me.
As
I was
soon as I
always
didn't
dead
have to do
last.
those,
I
I'm
hated
done.
him. Yes. I remember one time in class, guys. Do you remember having to do like Bible devotions in Mr. McKnight's class? Were you guys there for this?
Well, I left in grade seven, so just before grade seven started. So
Okay. Melanie,
I don't
you
remember.
weren't there for
It must
this?
have been like grade 9, probably then.
Guys, yeah, it must have been. We had to do like Bible devos like before class, and like each day it was like someone's turn, and it was my turn, and you could like play a song, you could play a music video, talk about it. So I get up there, and like it was always last minute. I never prepared for anything. Like I hated school. Like I never did anything. So, anyways, I just found this random video that I thought was a Christian video, and I get up there and play it. It was not. I can't even remember what it was. Not even like a Christian song. I have no idea what it was about. And then afterwards, Mr. McKnight, I look in the back, and he just seemed like trying not to laugh. He's like, "So, Sarah, was this very meaningful to you?" I was like, "Yes." And I had to like come up with some stupid explanation of why. Oh yeah, it was so embarrassing. I was like, God, definitely gonna watch my videos before I play them in class for Bible TiVos.
girl.
Anyways, it was so funny. Like everyone was laughing. I was like, okay, well, whatever. But yeah, Mr. McKnight, missed that guy. And then the Adams, I think they're working with. I think I saw on Facebook that they're helping with the ITF in Medang or something like that. Mr. Adams was like my favorite teacher. Sorry, teachers.
Me
It
too,
was my favorite.
honestly.
He was awesome. I actually remember some French because of him. And I had some, this is crazy. I had a French couple come into the coffee shop the other day, and I was like, Je m'appelle Sierra, vous s'appelle? And they were like,
Oh.
what? So I probably didn't say it right, but I remember a little bit.
Mine
It
was
was
history
Mr.
class
Adams.
with Mr. Adams. I to
Yeah,
this
that
day
was
will
good
still look at
too.
current events. Like
Current
I,
events.
yeah, I'm literally looking at other countries' current events, their government, like
Hmm.
this. Like I'm like everybody's like, why are you so much into like all these politics stuff? And I'm like, I had a really good
Mr.
history
Adams.
teacher that made me
Yep.
just love history and like I just love knowing what's happening at other countries'
Yeah.
government. And every time I'm like looking at an article or like listening to like somebody talk about like their country and what's happening in it, I was like, Mr. Adams would be so proud. Like,
Hey, I always think he's probably teaching this to his class right now.
yeah, I was like, he's probably teaching that.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Yeah, we had some great teachers for sure.
Definitely
So
did.
I have a question with you. What did Roger think of like, I guess this like a little bit like of the school that you grew up in and like kind of a little bit of your life that you showed him on Lapilo? Like, was he like, wow, this is interesting? Or like, was he, yeah, I don't know. What was his thoughts on that?
Um, I think it was just really nice for him to be able to see where we grew up, or I'd be like, oh, this is the sports field where we used to do this and this. And it was just really nice to be able to tell him, or he had a picture for all the stories that I used to tell him. And I don't think he thought of it as weird
Hmm.
or anything. Like,
Right,
yeah, I think it
yeah.
was
Mm.
helping him understand a little bit better where I came from.
Yeah.
And maybe also certain things that I would say that would like annoyed me or stuff like that. He would maybe understand a little bit
Mm.
well because he actually
Yeah.
saw.
That's awesome. And then when it came time for for you to go back to Switzerland when your time was up, your year of serving over there, what were some of your emotions leaving for the second time? Yeah, how did you feel leaving again?
Hmm. Yeah, for me it was very hard to leave again, just because we'd made some really really great friends on the base as well. Like our neighbors became
Mm.
best friends, and we like shared so much with them, and we're still real close contact
Mm.
with their kids. And even the boys that Roger worked with every day, he trained I think it was 8 men to become. I think it was eight. No, I think it was six mechanics. And so I would be down there every day as well, just, talking to them, seeing how they were doing, or bring a cake for coffee break,
Mm.
something like that. And they would come to our house and do stuff. And so they'd like become our family. So it was very hard to leave that all behind again for a second time.
Mm.
Um, but,
Yeah.
but yeah, just knowing that we had planned on going traveling for a couple of weeks in Australia. So we both like just focused on that. And so that made saying goodbye a little bit easier because there was
Mm.
something else to like look forward to afterwards. And I
Yeah.
what also makes it a bit harder is because most of the people were like PNG people. And so we knew that
Mm.
staying in contact with them would be very hard. Like now with you guys, I can write you
Yeah.
a message or we can call or whatever. But for
Right.
it's very difficult.
Right.
It's almost like you were saying goodbye for good, as is, they said, actually, they told us when we were leaving that for them it was like a funeral.
Mm.
We were leaving because they knew they would probably never
That's
see us
so sad.
again. It's like we're just gone because
Yeah.
Finland is just so far away
Yeah.
from them. It's hard for them to
Yeah.
ever see us again. So that,
You know what? That's such a good point that you bring that up because uh like we always think about like how it is for us leaving, but I guess I've never really thought of it from the perspective of like the PNG people themselves, the nationals themselves, like seeing like us like Americans or Canadians or Switzerland, like coming over and being in their lives and then leaving. They probably have so many of us coming and going throughout their lives. Like that's got to be tough on them too, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, because I do remember even like saying goodbye to some friends like in the tribe, and they'd be like, if I don't see you on this side of the world again, like basically they were like, I'll see you in heaven. That was our goodbye. It's like, I'll see you next in
Yeah.
heaven. And it's like, yeah, it just grips at the heart because like it's so hard on them too because they really grew to love
Mhm.
you and care for you. So like, yeah, that's really tough
Mhm.
that you guys had to, yeah, you had to go through that twice again. That's tough.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's okay. Like we
Yeah.
made so
So.
many good memories and so many friends, and so like it's okay to have or go through that again because you still learned and gained so much from the time that you were there. So it was like totally worth
Mhm.
to grieve again, like a second time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have this question. Was it all worth it? Just like the way you grew up, the experiences, the goodbyes, would you say it was worth it and you would do it all over again?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I loved my childhood. I thought it was the biggest adventure. And yeah, but I think my parents really did a really, really great job as well. Just like my dad was very busy, but he would always take the time on like during weekends to do stuff with us. We'd go, I don't know, ride a bike or climb a mountain or go to a river and do stuff as a family. And it was always, everything was very adventurous and fun. And yeah, it was like for us, it was, or I can say for me and my sister, both of us say it was like the best childhood we could have ever had. So I would definitely do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that answer. I think that you and I would both agree that, like, all the hardships that we've faced, I would
Mm.
go through that 1,000 times again, all that pain and crying and saying goodbye. But, like, I would go through it again just because of just, it was such a rich childhood. Like, not rich with money, definitely not.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
like, but rich with friendships, rich
Yeah.
in experience, and rich with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
other things. So,
Yeah.
I would definitely do
Absolutely.
it. Mel, it's been so nice to have you on here. I just wanted to just ask, if do you have any encouragements or thoughts for other TC kids who are thinking about returning home, and just like yeah, just encouragement for them, or a little bit of how to navigate some of the emotions that may come up.
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, I think it was a bit of a different situation because I was there for like a longer period of time and like kind of worked as a missionary as well. So it wasn't just visiting the country, but I think what's really important, or first, I've heard of a lot of people who've needed to go back to the home country in order to get closure, like because they always thought, oh, the life in
Mm.
Papua New Guinea was so much better or whatever. And so actually going back and seeing that it's not the same anymore really helps them to like be
Mm.
able to like start a new chapter in their life. And so I think for me, what I would say is really important is that you can like relive the memories, but don't let them like define you. And definitely make your own memories again in that place and not think about everything that you've lost or that you're missing. I think that's something that I would, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the grass seems like it's greener on the other side, but when like in reality, it might not always be that way. So yeah, that was great advice.
But you should definitely go back. Like
Any
it's
thoughts,
so
Jojo?
great to go back, Jojo. You should still go. If you ever make it, it is really nice.
What did
Just
you say?
if you have the chance to go,
Yeah.
you should definitely go. Like, even if it's just for a short time, just, just like I said, even just being at
Mm.
the airport in Port Moresby, for me, it felt like coming home. Hearing people speak pidgin, smelling the
Oh.
people in the same room, it's just like, oh, this feels like home. This is what I grew up with. It was like
Yeah.
so special. Just
Mm.
a place.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Mhm.
talking to Carabam, and we had her on the podcast, and it was so cool. I got to see her on my vacation. And she and I were just talking about how, like, right now, because our parents are like my parents have retired from the mission. Like, we're still new tribers. Once you retire, you're still part of ethnos, whatever. But they've retired now, and they're like back in Canada. So it kind of like, in a way, feels like I'll never go back, because it seems like the one thing connecting me to
Mhm.
Papua New Guinea, and like the one reason like I would go back was to see them. And now that they're not there, it feels like I don't know if it'll ever happen to me, which I'm like really sad about. And like, yeah, Kara and I were talking about, and it's kind of like something like you kind of mourn a little bit, just being like, well, that one connection is gone. And
Mm.
like kind of like that piece of home when you're like, I don't know if I'm going to ever go back home again. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I really want to, like, maybe one day in the future I'll just like volunteer at Ethnos Canada or something, and like go over there and
Yeah.
visit. But
You never know
yeah,
what
I don't know. I
opportunities
don't
might
know.
pop up.
You never know exactly.
That's
So I
totally
do
makes
want to
sense.
go back, and I do want to.
But it
Mm?
totally makes sense what you're saying with that link missing. Like my sister, she came to visit me in PNG
Mm-hmm.
when we were, and she said if we wouldn't have been there, she wouldn't have gone. It would have been weird, but just because she knew that we were there, she was
Mm.
like, "Oh yeah, then it's like a perfect chance to
Mm-hmm.
come to Papua New Guinea and see the culture again and visit us." And
Yeah.
yeah, so I totally understand that. Makes sense. Yeah.
I just know it's gonna be a lot of emotions. I know that, like, oh my word, yeah, it's gonna
Well,
be.
maybe one day all three of us can go back together and we can relive our
Yay!
Busama trip, and like that would be fun to do. Go on a little
Bring
vacation
our
to Papua New
kids.
Guinea
How many
together.
men do we have to take with us? All your husbands
Oh
have to
yeah,
come for protection. Because
3 men
PNG's
to each
not.
woman.
Yeah, it's not very safe
Yes,
for women out
Safe.
there. So.
It's true. It is
Yeah.
true. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Melanie. We loved hearing a little bit about your story and what it was like going back to Papua New Guinea. So, yeah, just thank you for sharing that with us. We look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of the Color of Home podcast. You can follow us on all social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, the Color of Home podcast. We have new episodes every Wednesday. If you have questions, we'd love to answer them for you. You can email us at thecolorofhomepodcast@gmail.com.